with Southern Yankee Innovations, and today I'm going to make a picture frame around a mirror. Our bathroom mirrors are just the cheap ones from Lowe's, and it's just a kind of a simple, cheap way to fix it up. All I'm using is 1x3 material from Lowe's. I think they were like $6 a piece. Just stay tuned and we'll show you how it's done. So the only thing you'll have to buy is a 1x3x8 pine board, and then use a chop saw or miter saw, a table saw, nails. I used a nail gun, but you don't need that, and then stain. Here's the before. You can kind of see it serves its purpose, but it's pretty boring. First step is cutting a 45 on one of your 1x3 boards. So I'm using a Hitachi sliding miter saw, and on my stand I have a stop plate on the support arms. So I set it up where I can make multiple cuts to the exact same length. I'm going to have a 1/2 inch overlap over the mirror, so you have to multiply that times 2, so you're going to have to take a full inch off. So for that piece there, I'm cutting it at 23 inches because the mirror dimension is 24 inches. And by using that stop marker there, I can get it exactly to cut 23 inches, and I can cut 6 of them for the 3 mirrors that I'm planning to do. If you don't have that capability, you can just measure it out and just cut your 45 each way, but as you can see here how much it speeds the process up. You can leave your saw set at 45 degrees, and then you just make your cut, and then you'll flip it, push it out to the stopper, and then you're ready for your next cut. Just repeat this for all your lengths of the mirror. Like I said, I had a 1/2 inch on each side, so I took an inch off my overall mirror measurement. So here I'm going through and looking at the faces of each of the boards, just trying to get any defects or anything that might take away from the cosmetics of the final product. As you can see here, there's a big gouge taken. The board's perfectly fine. I'll just put that towards the wall. Alright, so the next thing I did was set up my table saw. I planned on doing the 1/2 inch overlap, so to do that I raised the blade up just over a 1/2 inch above the table surface. Next thing I did was adjust the depth in which I'm going to take the 1/2 inch out. So here I took a scrap piece of wood, and reminders to keep your saw unplugged, and I adjusted to what I thought would be the right depth, and then I did a trial run and ran the piece through the saw just to see what the finished product would be. Now, as you can see here, that it's going to be a little bit too deep to actually fit properly against the mirror, so I'll just readjust and take a little bit less out next time. What I figured out worked best was to take off just over a blade width on the inner edge, and that seemed to fit pretty well up against the mirror. Now that the saw was set up, I just went through and cut all the pieces for the mirror. Like I said, I ended up doing 6 with this little project, and so I just repeated the process for all 12 pieces. Once you get done doing that, you can go through and either sand or just go right into staining. We wanted a little bit more of a rustic look, so I just left them and stained right over the natural look. You can see it has the saw marks and all that stuff, so it's just a little more rustic depending on what style exactly you want. As you can see, I didn't stain the whole back. All I did was stain the edges and then right up against where the mirror was going to be. I apologize, it's so close. I was just doing this in a half bathroom. I didn't have the room, but it's easier to start on the first side and then just use a 18 gauge nail gun to secure it loosely. I just put, I think, 2 or 3 in just to get started. My mirrors were held up by these little plastic tabs, so I just went through and unscrewed the top. That was going to be the next piece that I was going to put on. then I just lined the board up with the corner, made sure everything felt flush to the top of the mirror and the joint lined up. And then just tacked it in place. And then putting the other side on, you can see that the fit isn't quite perfect. You can kind of fine tune that after you get the 4 boards up and make sure everything's nice and flush. Here's where it's nice to have an extra set of hands. You can just have somebody apply upward pressure to hold the mirror in place, and then you can mount that bottom board. Lastly, when you're installing the last board, just make sure that the mirror is sitting on the lip that you cut out with the table saw, and that'll make sure that the mirror stays in place. Once the 4 boards are in place, if you're happy with the final fit and finish, you can nail everything down, and that's when you can kind of apply pressure to tighten up your corner gaps. And then here's the finished product. Altogether, it cost me $6 a board. I used 5 different boards, $30 plus some nails, and an hour and a half worth of time probably.